For Objective 10, we are now hiring, and what I mean by we is that Jack Frost is now hiring. There is a Jack Frost Tower applications server, and it's one of those challenges where you essentially, instead of giving up your own information, throw a bunch of random shit into it and hope that it drops out something useful. We attempted to complete this after the customer complaint PCAP analysis objective, and it had a 3 red tree difficulty. You have to exploit a server using server-side request forgery vulnerability. The gist is, if we can give the server a URL to process, it can make the request for us and then relay the output to us, thus giving us access to a restricted internal resource. In this instance, we need to have the AWS EC2 instance on the back end process our request and make a request to its AWS Instance Metadata Service, or IMDS. After it makes this request, we need a way to have it forced to relay the output back to us, or else we're not going to know what we just retrieved on the other side. When I first started, I was attempting to use directory traversal to read stuff like etc password and also contact a canary URL to see if it would get some type of blind exploitation occurring, and it would reach out to the URL, which would then notify me that my essentially injection into these parameters was successful. Unfortunately, that didn't work. I was a bit confused that a lot of the images weren't loading on the website and uBlock Origin wasn't enabled, so that wasn't the cause, this time at least. Eventually found out that the cloud services such as AWS provide a REST interface at http://169.254.169.254, which we should be able to use to interact with the IMDS of this host. By setting this as the input work sample that we are providing them, saying, hey, this is a sample of our work, we then begin to get this submission accepted response stating that you're on the naughty list and they'll be in touch. What occurs here is that the server will then reach out to this particular resource to get an example of your input work sample. It took me a bit to realize that this was actually a good thing that we were being told we were on the naughty list. Fumbling around trying to tamper with different fields and parameters that we were sending to the server, I thought once again about the pictures that we were given and the errors that were displayed from those pictures to say that they couldn't exactly be shown. It seemed that the images were loading, but they couldn't be displayed. A penny eventually dropped that maybe these weren't pictures at all. Intercepting the response of these pictures coming back to us and checking most of them out, we inadvertently actually found our answer in one of these pictures. They weren't JPEGs at all, they were the outputs of successful exploitation. All right, take it away. Let's see how that plays out. I just realized something. These pictures that are coming back saying that they've got errors, like for example, a.jpg says it's got an error. Maybe it's got an error because it's not actually a JPEG. No way, look at that. Look at that. You see that? So I just requested this picture, which has been giving me errors saying that it's not actually a real picture. And this is the output that has been written by someone by actually exploiting this by the looks of it. This looks to be data from the server. So that's kind of cool. That's a.jpg. Let's instead change it. So instead of a.jpg, we are... Maybe that's what they're doing. They're pumping it out to a.jpg so they can just read the output. But if we go to the actual, opportunities page, there's other pictures here which are trying to be loaded. So we've got like 1.jpg, so I'm going to intercept this in the response as well to see what this is. And it looks like someone has exploited this with this SSH RSA key here, which is a little bit interesting with this test string. I'm forgetting what the question is, but it does say, what is the secret access key? I don't know if someone's using this to get in. I don't think it's the answer. But it's a key that someone has decided they are going to get through 1.jpg, I guess. There is another picture which is 2.jpg, so let's intercept that and see what data people have got by exploiting the system through that. At the moment, there's another one with this SSH key. There might be a 3.jpg. Which, if we intercept the response on that, that's also the RSA key. Let's try a 4.jpg. So at the moment, it's not giving us the data that I guess we want, but we're not actually exploiting it. We're just looking at what someone else has exploited. Okay, so I think we just got the answer with 11.jpg that someone has exploited and just left there. There is this secret access key from the server. So I'm actually going to try this. I've copied it. The thing that we need is the secret access key, which is this, by the looks of things. And if we disable our interception and we go back to our KringleCon screen, it does seem like this is going to be our key that we need. So I do have, I guess, some concerns around reusing the exact same infrastructure and sessions, that if someone's able to exploit this and mess around with it, there doesn't seem to be any restarting of these things, which is why I've got a website that's half broken and an answer that's sitting there in a picture that someone has exploited to get out. We did just complete the challenge, although I didn't feel fulfilled. So yeah, thanks Random for leaving that lying around. I didn't exactly feel fulfilled, like I said, so I decided I was going to do it myself. What I did was go back to the original form and submit a resume pointing to the correct IMDS endpoint as my work reference. The resume file name that I set was a.jpg, so that it was responded back to me in the response from that upload. And that gives us the first endpoint that tells us that JF tools essentially is the role that we need. Then the same thing gets repeated using that to give us access to the secret key and to complete the objective.